Ta-da! Hey, after a month of using the K Ultra, we are now finally making its conversion chart. For most grinders that I own, I always make a conversion chart of that particular grinder against a Comandante C40. The reason for this is most recipes that you look up online, they always refer to the Comandante. Especially with AeroPress recipes or pour-over recipes, they almost always refer to the grind setting pertaining to a Comandante C40. And because of that, most brewers that owns a different grinder, they are having a hard time using that specific recipe just because of the grind setting that they've put in. So, I made it my mission, whatever grinder that I own, I always make a conversion chart. So today we are making a conversion chart for the 1zpresso K Ultra. After a month of using the K Ultra, I've actually loved it. People always say that the K Ultra is the direct competitor, if not the closest competitor of the Comandante C40. We're here to find that out. So we're gonna make a chart so that we can make a direct comparison of a Comandante C40 and an 1zpresso K Ultra. So first, I'm gonna need my chart maker. So I've actually devised something to make the initial chart for me. After the initial charting, I'm gonna check the grind size pertaining to the specific numbers between the grinders if they have exactly the same micron sizes using a particle analyzer. But we're gonna start by checking their biggest grind size. So for the K Ultra, that is 100 clicks or number 10. So I'm gonna go back to 0 first to check if it is calibrated. Yes. And then we're gonna go to 100. Wait. It goes beyond. So it is actually 12. So there are 120 clicks. So as opposed to the information found on the internet, they've put in there only 100 clicks for the K Ultra, but apparently we have 120 clicks. So I'm gonna adjust this first. So that is 12, and I'm gonna put it right beside 40 of the Comandante. So we're gonna need some coffee, and we're gonna need a Comandante C40. I'm also gonna need the setup for my phone so that we have the particle analyzer setup. Right, so we have the particle analyzer ready, and then we're gonna need it to be somewhere here. Okay, so I'm gonna need something to put this on. We need a taller one. It's too tall. Okay, maybe this will work. Perfect. So now that we have that ready, I'm gonna set my Comandante to 40 clicks. And we're gonna put a few coffees in there. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna grind directly onto this. I think that is enough. So now we're gonna put it on top of the particle analyzer. And we're gonna test. I'm gonna need the dye fluid app instead. There. Need to raise this more. Oh, this is actually amazing. So we're gonna test it. 1147, 1152, 1154. Right, so we are somewhere 1100 microns. Okay, let me bring this down. Now we're gonna check for the biggest size of the K Ultra, which is 120 And we're gonna need another particle analyzer. So we need a few coffees in there. All right. And yes, we are in the same range. Wow. 1100 as well. Exactly the same. Right, now we have these numbers. We're gonna check somewhere in the middle. So I would normally check for setting number 23 on the Comandante. Okay, so for 23 clicks on the Comandante, we are checking in 900s, 981, 978, 931. Right, so somewhere in 980. Now we're gonna check for, that would be 6.8 on the 1zpresso K Ultra. Right. This is for 6.8 K Ultra. Oh, I made too much. Okay, again. There, I think that is enough. Hey, we are checking for K Ultra 6.8. And we are getting 960 average, 980, 971, 960. I think this is the easiest and the fastest conversion chart that we've ever made. We only did the initial chart and everything lined up from the biggest to the most common grind size setting that I use, which is 23 clicks and 6.8 on the K Ultra. Everything lined up, micron size wise. Yeah, that is crazy. That is really fast. So now we also have a grind size chart for the K Ultra, and that will be available on my Patreon. If you want a copy, just go ahead, go to the link I've provided below for my Patreon shop. So we have a grind size chart now for the K Ultra, and I think we can do a side-by-side comparison now. Maybe we can try and compare the particle size distribution first before we go ahead and brew something. Right. So we're gonna go to Coffee OS app now. Okay, with the Coffee OS app, we'll be able to check for the particle size distribution of each of the grinders that we have. So we're gonna test it right now. And we have a bimodal distribution for the Comandante. Okay, now we're gonna check for the K Ultra. Test. Gonna do it one more time. Okay, I'm gonna need to test for the Comandante again. So the Comandante might have a skewed distribution. We're gonna do the analysis of that some other time. But the K Ultra, as we revealed during the first test with the ZP6, it has a bimodal distribution, meaning there are two distinct peaks among its particle distribution. For the Comandante, it's the first time that I encountered skewed distribution, but it looks like this. Yeah, I'm gonna need some time to check and analyze this data. But yeah, that is the difference between their particle distribution. Now, I think we are now ready to brew side by side with the same grind size. Okay, comparisons like this are very crucial, especially for the viewers who are biased over one brand over the other. I've experienced this in the past comparison videos. If you noticed, I'm not doing any comparison, like brewing comparisons recently. That is because of that. So a lot of viewers are commenting that I am biased over the other, or the test is not reliable. So this time, we're gonna do a cupping instead of a side-by-side brewing. So cupping is the most effective way to test or try or taste your coffees, grade your coffees. This is used by coffee professionals all over the world, used by roasters almost every time they roast their coffees. I think this could be the most reliable thing that we can do to compare the Comandante C40 versus the 1zpresso K Ultra in the same grind size. So in this test, we're gonna use coffee from Mothership. It's a washed Catimor coffee. We're gonna weigh 5 grams. Right off the bat, the coffee from the Comandante has a more intense fragrance. I can clearly smell the sugar browning and the caramelly notes of the coffee. Whereas with the K Ultra, I can just smell like a tiny hint of nuts. It's barely noticeable. And now they're almost the same. They almost have the same exact aroma, but the coffee from the Comandante is more, how do you say, viscous. They smell more viscous. It's more malagkit, as we say in the Philippines. Hey, we are at 4 minutes and we are gonna break the crust. It actually evolved to nuts. As the same with the K Ultra. Okay, so now we are just waiting for somewhere around 8 minutes before we can start tasting. The protocol is you can taste after 10 minutes, but since we are doing an informal cupping, maybe we can start at around 8 minutes. And I'm just gonna go ahead and try the Comandante first. Very different. Very different coffees. The coffee from the K Ultra is a lot cleaner. It's a lot smoother. It's very clean. The body of the Comandante is a lot heavier also than the K Ultra, but the coffee from the Comandante is more on the sweeter side of things, whereas the K Ultra is more on the juicier or tea-like side of things. It actually corresponds very well to the cleanliness and the smoothness of the coffee. This is very elegant. And the coffee from the Comandante is a lot stronger, more bold flavor. So I can taste like plum and prunes, maybe dried berries here. As for the K Ultra, I can clearly taste that there are fresh fruits and berries, but not dried ones. There is also the presence of nuts with the K Ultra, and that is not present with the coffee from the Comandante. Yeah, but there is a bitter aftertaste on the Comandante, but not on the K Ultra. Yeah, very different profiles from the two grinders that we have right here. So I think that's it for this video. We finally have the grind size conversion chart for the K Ultra and the C40. We also managed to compare these two. So this video is very efficient for just one episode. So we managed to compare the flavor profiles of these two as well in the same exact grind size, but very different particle size distribution. If you have any questions, if something is not very clear with you, just leave your comments down below and I'll be happy to answer them. But for now, thank you so much for watching. In the next videos, I'm gonna show you more about coffee. Bye! Oh, it evolved. So it's a lot cooler now. And the coffee for the Comandante is a lot juicier now. More acidity.